On the news, President Buhari commissions $2.5 billion Dangote Fertilizer plant in Lagos. BRT bus driver Andrew Nice pleads not guilty to murder of 22-year-old Bamishe. And court fixes Friday for judgment in suit seeking Ayade's removal for defecting to the APC. It's a pleasure to have you join us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has hailed Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, describing him as the biggest employer of labor after the federal government. President Buhari said this during the commissioning of the multi-billion-dollar Dangote Fertilizer plant located at the Bejuleki area of Lagos State on Tuesday. The president, who was accompanied to the event by dignitaries, also noted that the government would gain excessively in foreign earnings from the new project. Our correspondent, Abisola Adebayo, has the details in this report.
This is President Muhammadu Buhari's second visit to Lagos State in less than 6 months, and his first stop is the newly constructed multi-billion-dollar Dangote Fertilizer plant located at the Lekki Free Trade Zone in the Bejuleki area of the state. The president is here to commission the facility, which is Africa's largest granulated fertilizer complex and is expected to deliver 3 million metric tons of urea fertilizer per annum. After the cutting of the tape and unveiling of the plaque, the president, accompanied by the state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and other dignitaries, took a tour of the facility. In his address, President Buhari says the project is in line with the federal government's drive to ensure food sufficiency in the country. While also commending the Dangote team, the president assured Nigerians that his government will continue to provide an enabling environment for private sector to thrive.
I commend the chairman, board and management of Dangote Industries Limited for their business initiative in capitalizing and building this plant to reduce our dependence on importation of fertilizer, create jobs on a massive scale, increase the inflow of foreign exchange, and accelerate economic growth.
Constructed at the cost of $2.5 billion, the plant is one of the latest bets of Africa's wealthiest man, Aliko Dangote. Expressing delight at the success of the project, Dangote says products from the plant have reached the African market and across Brazil, India and Mexico.
The new plant will make Nigeria self-sufficient in fertilizer production with excess capacity to export to other African markets and the rest of the world. It is an ambitious developmental project which will drastically reduce the level of unemployment and youth restiveness in this country through generation of direct and indirect employment.
Your Excellency.
On his part, Governor of Central Bank Godwin Emefiele pointed out that the Dangote Group, with this project, has helped Nigeria solve a perennial fertilizer problem, which will in turn aid food production in the country and in extension provide employment.
This fertilizer plant is timely when one considers recent developments in the global market, where prices of wheat, fertilizer, and crude oil spiked by over 30%. This would not only help to enable greater productivity of our agricultural sector, but would also help in insulating our Nigerian farmers from depending on imported fertilizer.
The millions of direct and indirect jobs that this complex will be providing, I want to thank Alhaji Aliko Dangote. He could have made a different choice about his wealth.
Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, currently has one of the lowest fertilizer applications on the continent at 20 kilograms per hectare, lagging behind peers like Egypt and South Africa. as the country's fertilizer need is anticipated to reach between 5 to 7 million metric tons in the years ahead. The company is hoping to bridge an 80% supply gap currently covered by importation. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 News.
To discuss this further, Viola Kwaga, economist, joins me now. Thank you so much for your time. Now, it's easy to imagine how vast this project is, but how much of an impact will this $2.5 billion Dangote fertilizer plant have on the nation's economy?
Thank you for having me, Falashade. I mean, looking at it from the face of it, you would see that there's definitely going to be a creation of jobs. There will be creation of jobs directly and indirectly from those that would be, manning the plants from the inside to the supply of the fertilizer and its application to, various sectors of the country. And then the export proceeds that would definitely come from this. I mean, you heard him say that it's already being sold as far as Brazil. It means that there will be more foreign exchange being earned by the private sector, in Nigeria. This means that, this is going to be a larger corporation for the government to tax and definitely derive some level of revenue therein. I think the more interesting implications is how the government will respond to the use and distribution of this fertilizer in the country. The private sector always, time in and time out, shows that these things can be done. The question then remains for how the government will handle this new enterprise in terms of security, in terms of linkages. Yes, fertilizer is an input for the agricultural chain, for the agricultural value chain. How well will this be used by the farmers that are being blighted by security issues, by the farmers that are being blighted by high cost of inputs? How will the government make this easy for them to improve the so-called food security the president is wanting to solve from this? I think a lot of us should watch out for that and not just the immediate good tidings of high earnings for this corporation.
Petrochemicals and agricultural sector, what other part of the economy must we see such extensive investment?
So, I mean, there's definitely going to be required some level of investment in infrastructure, because this is an input that needs to be distributed. It's fortunate that we've seen the revamping of the railways, and I know that there are special commodity lines, along these railways that goods, not humans, can be used to transport goods all across the nation. I think this is one instance of one sector, one aspect of infrastructure that we will see, or that we would need to see some reaction from the government. Another one, like I mentioned earlier, is that of security. Yes, Nigeria has a high consumption of fertilizer, and yes, this company will, lessen the challenges in getting fertilizer. But the question will remain: how accessible will it be to farmers, especially in the northern parts of the country that are besought by security challenges? What will the government do in the immediate to medium term in solving these security challenges and allowing farmers have quality access to these inputs to help with their own productivity, as well as the general food security issue of the country?
Well, Viola Kwaga, economic expert, thank you so much for your contribution. The Nigerian Senate has resolved to debate the ruling of an Abia State High Court ordering the deletion of Section 8412 of the Electoral Act 2022. The Senate's decision was still called to a point of order raised by Senator Thompson Sakibo, representing Rivers East Senatorial District, on the said matter. But the Deputy Senate President, Senator Omoagege, who presided over Tuesday's plenary, suggested that lawmakers delay the debate onto the next legislative session. The court had ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to delete the contested Section 8412 from the body of the Electoral Act 2022. The judgment came less than 2 weeks after another judge of the Abuja division of the same court, Inyang Ekwo, barred President Buhari, the AGF, and the National Assembly from tampering with the newly amended Electoral Act of 2022.
Section 228 gives us also the power to make certain laws to to guard the independent National Electoral Commission so that it can effectively discharge our function. If in course of our job, and we felt that Section 8412, as we enshrined in the Independent Electoral Act that was just assented to, is for the good interest of the country, of the people, I don't think that we should just be somebody we go to court without joining the Senate or the House of Representatives, where this law emanates from.
The attempt by the court in Abia State to oust some sections of the bill we just passed into law concerning the issues surrounding the public servants in politics and who want to run elections and all issues thereto. I second it and ask that this Senate discuss it here and now.
I want a fuller house for this debate because this matter is very, very fundamental, and it would be good to have the input of all senators. And I'm not sure that people had notice. I'm not sure that people were privy to the fact that these discussions will arise in the best interest of this chamber, that we give all of our colleagues, or as many of our colleagues as possible, the opportunity to show up and make their input. That is the reason for the decision.
The Cross River State government says it has filed an appeal against the Federal High Court judgment which sacked 20 lawmakers for defecting to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, had instituted a suit against the lawmakers over their defection to the APC. Ruling on the case, the judge Taiwo held that the lawmakers should vacate their seats, having abandoned the political party that sponsored them to power. In the application for stay of execution, counsel to the Cross River State government, Mike Azekome, noted that the notice and grounds of appeal raised serious points of law before the appellate court, with a great chance of success at the hearing of the appeal.
There were some major areas of the pleadings that His Lordship did not touch at all. For example, the defendants in this matter, the legislators, tendered hard evidence in terms of letters of expulsion by the PDP as a political party due to the schism and crisis at the national level of the party, saying they were expelled from the political party and that they did not defect. You can only defect from a party in which you are a member. But where you have already been expelled, it becomes your constitutional right under Section 40 to exercise your freedom of association and freedom of assembly by going to any political party of your choice. So they could also have gone to Labour Party, Zenith Labour Party. They could also have gone to any other political party in Nigeria like APGA. You can't expel a person and say his political career should terminate and be moribund.
In a related development, a federal high court in Abuja has fixed Friday to deliver judgment in a suit filed by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, against Ben Ayade, Cross River governor. In its suit, the counsel to the PDP, Emmanuel Ukala, had filed a suit before Justice Taiwo to seek an order sacking the governor and his deputy over their defection to the All Progressives Congress, APC, among others. Ayade was elected on the platform of the PDP in 2015 and 2019, but defected to the APC on May 20, 2021, along with his deputy. Andrew Nice, the alleged killer of BRT passenger Oluwabamiche Ayinwola, has been arraigned by the Lagos State government before the State High Court, sitting at Tafawa Balewa Square. He was arraigned on a 4-count charge bordering on rape, conspiracy and murder of its passenger Oluwabamiche Ayinwola. The Lagos State Director of Public Prosecution, Jude Martins, told Justice Sherifat Chunaike that the offences committed are contrary to and punishable under 4 sections of the criminal law of Lagos State. The defendant, Andrew Nice, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. The court ordered that the defendant should be remanded at the Ikoyi prison while adjourning the case to May 9, 10, and 11, 2022 for commencement of trial. The Water Producers Association of Nigeria, WAPAN, has lamented the rising cost of production following the scarcity of petrol and high cost of diesel in the country. Speaking to the press, stakeholders of the association say to meet regulatory standard, the body has to adjust the prices of the sale of bottled and sachet water to maintain quality production.
We are all aware of what is happening globally and nationally. We in Lagos State not left out. For some time, we've been having escalating running costs, bordering on purchasing of the raw materials we use, the nylons going up per day, the packing bags notwithstanding. Diesel is the climax. And it is to this effect we are saying from now, water will be sold for 200 naira per bag in the whole of Lagos State. And with that, we'll be able to absorb the increases that have been coming on us unavoidably.
So we are appealing to Lagosians that as the price of water is going to 200 naira per bag, they should bear with us. We are not planning, we don't mean to bring any hardship to Lagosians, but we just can't continue.
Taken to the streets on the peaceful march to the Lagos State House of Assembly, the association was addressed by a member of the Lagos State Assembly, Rotimi Olowo, who promised to look into their request of shutting down illegal potable water producers to avoid a spread of waterborne diseases in the state.
We will make overtures to the agents of government, starting with your regulation, which is the Lagos State Water Regulation Commission, on how to see that they stop all these illegal producers of water. Water is life, but that is good water. Bad water is a liability, and the bill of government will obviously shoot up. Many of our hospitals will now be accommodating issues and borders of waterborne diseases. This will not allow, because it has to do with our people. We represent the people.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Ukraine president calls on Pope Francis to mediate in conflict. Details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari has hailed Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, describing him as the biggest employer of labor after the federal government. The president, who was accompanied to the event by dignitaries, also noted that the government would gain excessively in foreign earnings from the new project. We also told you that the Cross River State government says it has filed an appeal against the Federal High Court judgment, which sacked 20 lawmakers for defecting to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, had instituted a suit against the lawmakers over their defection to the APC. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee, Boss Mustafa, says fully vaccinated travelers coming into Nigeria will no longer be required to take a pre-departure PCR COVID-19 test. Mustafa made the comment on Monday during a briefing of the PSC announcing a revision of the international travel protocols, added that passengers who are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated are still expected to take a COVID-19 PCR test 48 hours before departure or do a day 2 and day 7 test on arrival. Such passengers, Mustafa reviewed, will be expected to pay for their PCR tests through the federal government's travel platform, while fully vaccinated passengers will not be charged for rapid antigen tests at the airport. Well, we'll take another short break and return with more stories and business. Stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait.
Welcome back. Well, Simi Salah Adigun is on standby to bring us the latest in the world of business. Over to you, Simi.
Thank you, Falashade. Welcome to business. At the 284th Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the Central Bank of Nigeria held in Abuja, MPR, otherwise known as the interest rate, was held at 11.5% with the asymmetric corridor of plus 100/minus 700 basis points around the MPR. The CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, however, highlighted some of the current economic challenges bedeviling the nation as well as strategies adopted to tackle the issues. Our correspondent, Folashade Ogunride, has the details in this report.
Concerns over rising oil price occasioned by the Russia-Ukraine war took center stage at the end of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting. The CBN governor, while briefing journalists, said the decision to retain all parameters and hold interest rate at 11.5% is to avoid shrinkage in expected investment expansion, given the fragile state of the nation's current GDP growth. Emefiele will urge the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and other stakeholders to prefer a quick solution to the fuel shortage in the country, added that oil theft has adversely affected Nigeria's ability to meet its production quota.
The MPC worries today that whereas global prices have gone up, this has been compounded by shortage of supply of petroleum products. In the short run, MPC urges NNPC to take urgent steps to ensure adequate supply of petroleum products in Nigeria so as to reduce the rate of arbitrary increase in price of these petroleum products by oil marketers.
To further emphasize the current challenges in the oil sector, the CBN governor disclosed that the nation's gross external reserve also saw a decline of over $1 billion within January and March 2022.
Committee noted the decrease in the level of gross external reserves to $39.44 billion as at March 2017-2022 from $40.21 billion as at January 25, 2022, indicating a decrease of 1.95% over the review period. The moderate accretion to reserves reflects the duality of Nigeria's position as an oil exporter and importer of refined petroleum products.
Despite this gloomy report, the CBN boss says Nigeria is expected to record economic growth in the remaining quarters of the year.
The Nigerian economy is forecast to grow in 2022 by 3.24% CBN estimate, 4.2% federal government estimate, and 2.7% IMF estimate.
Since November 2020, the CBN Monetary Policy Committee has retained all parameters for varying reasons. At its last meeting in January, The committee also retained the country's key lending rate to support economic recovery after COVID-19 lockdowns. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News.
We'll go on a short break and be back with Stock Market Report. The market dipped by 0.20% as investors lost 51.40 billion naira, causing it to end on a bullish note, albeit amid a positive market turnover. Regarding the performance of the market indices, benchmark all-share index closed at 47,156 basis points, while market capitalization stands at 25.4 trillion naira. 105 NGX-listed equities participated in trading, ending with 16 gainers and 29 losers. Emerging the least performing equities, Japo Gold and Ventures and Champion Breweries ended trading with a combined 2 naira 18 kobo. NPF Microfinance Bank and FCMB Group slogged it out to take first and second place on the list of gainers. Both equities earned 6 naira 20 kobo. And so at the close of Tuesday's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 303 million volume of shares valued at 3.902 billion naira were traded in 4,616 deals. Trading is looking good on the global scene amid the fallout from the Russia-Ukraine war, and as oil and gas prices are surging, our select stocks, UK's FTSE, US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei, are all in the gainers territory at 0.36%, 0.67% and 1.48% respectively. Although higher energy prices are a headwind for almost every sector, it is a bonus for energy stocks and oil majors. That's all for Stock Market Review. Back to you, Folashade.
Well, many thanks, Simi. And now the foreign scene, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has called on Pope Francis to mediate in his country's conflict with Russia to help alleviate human suffering nearly 1 month into Moscow's invasion. Zelensky said he had held a telephone call with Pope where he explained his country's difficult humanitarian situation and the blocking of rescue corridors by Russian troops. Meanwhile, Pope Francis has called for an end to the conflict on more than one occasion. And although he has condemned the massacre in Ukraine, he has avoided mentioning Russia by name. Negotiators from Moscow and Kyiv have held ongoing talks aimed at ending nearly 4 weeks of fierce fighting, but have failed to announce any progress so far. Well, up next is Entertainment Reporter News Now.
Nigerian singer Habib Okikiola, popularly known as Portable, has backed an endorsement deal worth 50 million naira with socialite Obi Iyegbu, popularly known as Obi Cubana. Portable will be endorsing a new herbal drink recently launched by the nightlife boss. The Zazu crooner made the announcement on his Instagram page, where he shared several videos sporting the brand's shirt in the company of the Abuja-based socialite and associate. Captioning one of these videos, Portable hailed Obi Cubana for the show of love as he revealed the 50 million naira ambassadorial deal. 4 former Big Brother Niger housemates have gained admission to study management programs at the Milano School of Business in Italy, which will commence on May 22. One of the former housemates, Liquor Rose, who was the favorite to win last year's edition before coming runner-up to the eventual winner, White Money, could not contain her joy, taking to her Instagram handle to announce the development while calling on her fans to celebrate with her. The school's representatives in Africa, Eurovision Ventures, who confirmed the reports in a statement, disclosed that the BB Niger stars will travel to Milan, the Italian capital, to attend the courses, which will include classroom sessions, city tours, and industrial visits to Italian businesses. And that's all there is on the entertainment segment of News Now.
away from entertainment to now to sports. 18 Super Eagles players have made it to camp as they hope to book their place in Qatar, where they face Ghana in the playoffs holding on the 25th and 27th of March respectively. The latest arrivals are Leganes defender Kenneth Omeruo, Joe Aribo, Calvin Bassi and Emmanuel Dennis, who plays as a striker for Premier League side Watford FC. Super Eagles interim manager Augustine Eguavoin had stated on Monday that his sole focus was on raising a team that will seal a Qatar 2022 World Cup ticket. Speaking ahead of Super Eagles' first training session yesterday in Abuja, Eguavoin said the players have promised to do everything possible to beat Ghana, adding that the first game at the Baba Yaro Stadium, Kumasi on Friday is very important to their aspirations. I need to wrap on our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.